Good morning
Good morning, everyone.
and welcome to the Miscanthus webinar. I'll be sharing my slides in a second. Here we go. So, welcome to the Miscanthus webinar of BBoBB, or Bob, as we more easily would like to say it.
This webinar is an initiative of BoBoBB, Building Based on Bio-Based. And Building Based on Bio-Based is a collaboration between 5 European countries funded by Interreg NSR. The program was designed by the province of Friesland and House of Design in collaboration with all partners. BoBoBB is about scaling up chains from local crops to building materials. The project involves 4 crops: cattail, miscanthus, hemp, and flax. Today we are focusing specifically on miscanthus. Relatively little is happening yet with miscanthus in the North Sea region. Given the qualities of this crop, we believe that's a pity. That's why we are doing our best within the BoBoBB project to change this. September the 16th, we discussed paludiculture, cattail, flax, and hemp will be dealt with later. Well, I'm Annemarieke Aerts, and I'm project coordinator of House of Design.
And my name is Erik Vladeris, or in English, Erik Vladeris, and I work for Circulair Friesland as a project manager. We'll be introducing some more about the organizations later on in this presentation. So first, before we dive into the deep, we want to tell you something about all the people that are involved in this BoBoBB project. Many countries are involved. One of them is France. You see the IMT North Europe and Cerema as project partners in BoBoBB from France. From the Netherlands, it's the team Friesland. It's province of Friesland, House of Design, Biocentrum, and Circulair Friesland. Organizations mostly focused on Friesland, but also the north of the Netherlands, which is a very important part of the way we approach things, which will become clear later on in this talk. Also, the design region Kortrijk is involved from Belgium and the University of Ghent University. From Germany, Drai-N region Heidekreis and Jade University of Applied Sciences. And from Denmark, CELF, Business Lolland Falster, Agrovi, and Goldborgsund Municipality. I'm sorry if I botched those pronunciations. So before we go into the further content of this presentation, we would like to know a bit about the people that we're talking to. So I'm not sure if you have your phones ready. Maybe you put them away to focus solely on this webinar, but for now you need to take them back because we would like you to scan this QR code and see a bit of what our audience is. So the first question would be, what is your profession? And we'll be waiting for your answers. See if anyone pops up. Exactly for the purpose of this wait, I brought a cup of coffee. I'm taking a sip while you fill this in. First answer is wood economist, project manager. That makes 2 of us. A building engineer, a research assistant, and an architect. Look, that's a very...
We see an industrial designer.
Political consultant. You see, it might not be that much of a coincidence that all these people are involved in this webinar, but you'll see later on that all these types of professions are very important with regards to chain development. You really need a broad selection of people, a broad sense of multidisciplinarity. Annemarieke will be getting into that later on when she explains something about the way we approach things within BoBoBB. But you will notice that all these people here are very important. So I'm glad you're all here. Let's go on to the next question, which is, are you already working with bio-based materials? Looking at those professions, I hope there are some answers for yes.
At least 3.
That's convincing. All right. All right, we're doing well, Annemieke.
Yes, we are, because there are 13 people in the audience. So 8 of them are still working with bio-based materials.
And 8 are declining to answer, which is fine too. But you may think, okay, if all these people are already working with bio-based materials, you might think, are we preaching to the choir? I think we're not, because there's a lot to offer when it comes to bio-based materials. There are many different flavors in the palette that is bio-based materials, and it's usually not wise just to focus on one product when you're working with bio-based materials. Different crops have different specifications, different purposes in the built environment, and in for example, interior design, etc. So there are many ways that you can apply bio-based materials in very different contexts. So it's good that you get some broader sense of what else is out there. So for the last question, what are you hoping to learn from this meeting? And just while you're typing that out, I'll give you a bit of expectation management. We're talking as far as we're feeling, we're talking to a wall, because there are no faces at the other end of this laptop. So there is a box for Q&As. You can ask questions during the presentation and after. We'll also reserve some time for a back and forth with a conversation about the questions that you're asking, but we would like to give you as much space as you want. I see one of the people now asking or telling us market biomaterials trends, discovering new products, and no more. And real life implementations. I think these are all things that we'll be able to offer within the talk that we're giving. And if you do want to get more information about that, please ask a question in the Q&A. And afterwards, we can also always keep in touch and get in contact about the things that we're learning here within the BoBB project. So yeah, please interact is the message. So let's get into it then.
Okay. I think before we dive into Miscanthus as a crop, it's good to explain a little more about the BoBB project. There's a possibility of using biomaterials in construction, and is there anything?
Sorry, yeah, just a quick hiccup. The presentation stopped, so we'll just put that back up there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so I hope the audience sees the right slide now. Yeah, it does? Okay. The goals and ambitions of BoBB is to focus on strengthening the value chains and scaling them up. The use of bio-based materials in construction is a unique opportunity with a lot of potential. We face some big problems in NSR over the world, but in NSR as well. Climate change, we have problems with the health of soil, biodiversity loss. We need new business models for farmers that can't farm in the way that they did for ages. And we have a lot of CO2 emissions that need to be reduced. And the use of bio-based materials in construction can solve some of these problems. And currently, many small-scale projects throughout the NSR are involved, but the value chains are not closed yet. So we need to change that. That's why we started BoBB. And within those small initiatives, and we have a lot of obstacles that need to be overarched, and a lack of well-organized value chains, like I said before, fragmented and partly missing knowledge on data, government policies need to be changed, because we are still thinking within a linear economic system, and not within a system of a circular economy yet. So a lot of things need to be changed, and that gives challenges to them who are already trying to use those materials. So what we try to do cross-border is to tackle these challenges by developing a transnational approach. What is already done in Denmark, for example, can be used in the Netherlands. What we already discovered can be used in France. And so throughout those 5 countries, we can help each other and tackle the challenges that we see. It's possible to do this in a theoretical way, but that's not what we try to do within BoBB. We want 5 projects that demonstrate the possibilities and in which we can explain what needs to be done. So we developed the methods and the business models within those 5 pilot projects. And the projects are based on different crops, and it differs a bit between the 5 countries. And within BoBB, the design component has a very important role.
Yeah. So as promised before, we introduced ourselves a bit earlier just as a person, but we also promised to tell something about the organizations that we work for. So that's why I'll be diving into the history of Circulair Friesland first, the organization that I work for. This also gives some insights in about how chain development feels and looks and works in a region such as this. And Annemarieke will be diving into how the works of that is going on. So Circulair Friesland has been started in 2015, about 10 years ago, or exactly 10 years ago, when a couple of entrepreneurial parties, so really entrepreneurs, businesses, did a resource analysis in Friesland, discovering what types of resources flew into the or flowed into the region and flowed out of the region as well. They thought this was a shame because these resources could be utilized here in the region in a circular fashion instead of in a linear way, in that they're consumed here and then disposed of later. So we wanted to give that a new destination here within the people of Friesland, that they could interact with those resources again. So to achieve that, they found each other and decided to form an association, very tight-knit type of community in which people really commit to working together and finding each other, etc. So that's how the Association of Circulair Friesland started formally in 2016. And after that, they developed the 7 pillars of a circular economy. More on that later. Fast forward to now, I'll not be stopping at every point. We have over 180 members already. It's 165 in 23, and in 2025 we wanted to belong to the circular frontrunners of Europe. And with these 180 plus members, I'll give you a quick example of that later, which types of members there are. We actually did manage to become one of the most circular regions in Europe. And you'll see that as we approach this, we take in as many people with us as we can, but we do work with the frontrunners in specific sense. And by showing how it can be done, we're also showing how it can be scaled up. So as you see Circulair Friesland now here in this province, we have 2 neighboring provinces, Groningen and Drenthe, which also has Circular Groningen and Drenthe Association. So you see the model of collaboration in the circular economy is scaling up. And the power of networks such as this is that we have so many members on which so many people are involved and share the same vision and feeling about how to approach towards a circular economy. And you see the image in the background now with all these members displayed. And you'll see all the project partners of BoBB as well. You'll see how these people are all with the same sense, with the same feeling, approaching circular economy, bio-based chain development, etc. So House of Design is a member, Province of Friesland is a member, Biosyndrome is a member, all these people that are involved in this BoBB project as well. But also a far broader show of many types of different members, and not all limited to construction. Very broad.